Okay. All right. So happy Saturday. Welcome. You're here for your core. For those of you that have, practiced with me in person before a lot and you've seen me wear these pants, these are my spicy pants. Spicy pants for the core. Apple core, spicy core, whatever. So I hope you guys have your spicy pants on and you have a little bit of water. Don't worry, we're going to have all levels. It's all good, but you can pick and choose, but there will be a little bit of spicy pants for sure. And Rosie wants to say hello. So Rosie, sit. For sure, I would like to say, you guys, look, we are end of February, spring is coming, lockdowns are ending. It's good. We've done it. We're going to do it. We're going to get through this. This is amazing, right? So I just want to add that happy, excited words at the beginning of our class. But anyways, let's lie down on our backs, please. And we'll stretch out. Take a nice big stretch, a Saturday morning stretch. Especially a big extra stretch into your ribs, into your heart. Big breath in through your nose and out through your nose or mouth, whatever feels good. Whatever feels good, whatever feels like you are flushing your body. You're getting ready to move around, getting ready to practice. We're going to do some spicy, we're going to do some stretchy. It's going to be loads of fun. And let's grab onto our left wrist and we're going to pull over to the right. Big stretch into your side body, pulling over to the right side. You can take your ankle, your left ankle, and cross it over your right, so you start to curve your body a little bit. We want to definitely make sure that we get some nice lengthening and stretching into our waist, into our back. And we'll come back to center. And let's grab onto the right wrist, and we're going to pull over to the opposite side. And then cross the ankle. Nice, big, deep, stretchy breath. And then come back to center. Keep your arms over your head. Interlace your fingers. Let's get into our wrists a little bit here. Stretch your wrists. Point your toes. Take another big, deep breath in and exhale out. And then bring your arms alongside your body. Let's bend our knees into our chest. This is always one of the first sort of telltale things that you can sort of assess where your body is at. Does your back feel creaky? Do your hips feel tight? Does this feel nice? So knowing, of course, if you're going to have to, make some modifications in the class to help, work with however the body is feeling, or maybe you're feeling very energized and you know that today you're going to push yourself a little bit further than you have before. Always, every day is different, and this is a yoga buffet that you can choose what you'd like. So let's bring our feet down to the ground, and I want you to bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees open out to the sides and just get into this initial stretch here. Taking some breaths. Yes, Rosie has to come over and give my armpit a lick. What would a Saturday morning be for me without my dog licking my armpit while I'm trying to do a yoga class? Okay, you guys just keep stretching. I know, give me some licks. All right, here, she just needs a little bit of love. You guys keep stretching. I will count you down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then just scoop your knees back in, and I want you to hug your knees. Scoop your knees together and hug your knees back in again. And now this time, let's stretch our legs up in the air. You can start to roll your ankles. Maybe give the backs of the legs a nice massage. Squeeze and release your toes. Take a few more breaths. So we want to try to transition to breathing in and out through the nose as best you can. And bring your legs down to the ground, and let's stretch them out one more time, and bring your arms over your head a second time. Okay, let's bring the feet to the outside edges of the mat. Your knees are bent, and you can start to drop your knees from side to side. So just take some breaths. Just dropping the knees from side to side. We're going to do one more either side. Rosie really wants to stay here for the class. She needs to work her core a little bit. She likes the spicy pants. All right, let's come back to center. I'll be serious. I'll focus on the yoga. Let's stretch the left leg out. Bend your right knee in. I want you to pull it right into your belly. Give yourself a nice big squeeze, 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 squeeze. And now pull your knee towards your right shoulder. Still compressing the side of the body. We're just opening up the hip a little bit more, feeling your back pressing on the ground. And then soften the tightness, soften the intensity. Keep your right hand on your knee, and I want you to start to roll your leg in some circles. Just moving your leg bone around in the hip socket, trying to release anything tight. Let's reverse the circle. Keep breathing. And then we'll come back to center and pull your knee in, not tightly, just softly. Have your left hand on your knee, bring the leg across the body, and one nice big stretch. So if it feels like too much to extend your right arm away from you, of course, you're going to keep it in closer. But just try and stretch into your spine, into, again, the side ribs, maybe releasing your neck a little bit with turning to the right, anything that is available to you. Big breath in, big breath out. All right, let's come all the way back. Let your right leg stretch out on the ground. Give it a little shake. Bring your left knee in. Pull it first into the belly. Squeeze it into the belly. Big squish. And now pull your knee more towards your left shoulder. Big squish, big squish. And then softening the intensity of the pull, of pulling the leg in. Keep your left hand on your knee, and you can start to do the circles in the air. So again, rolling your leg bone around, just loosening up, warming up and loosening up, and then let's reverse. So for sure, even though we're focusing and I'm commenting a lot on how this feels with the leg, you can still feel that you're stretching your glute muscle when this happens. You can probably feel some pulling and stretching in the lower pelvis and the lower abdominals. So this is all part of the core. Come back to center, right hand is on your knee, and bring the leg across the body. Once again, doing anything here that feels good for you in terms of twisting. I want you to take another big deep breath in and exhale out. Notice if you're clenching your teeth inadvertently, try to soften your jaw. We always hold lots of tension in the jaw. Just release it. We're going to feel looser in the body because spring is coming, days are getting longer. Amazing. Bring your arms over your head one more time. And I know, as I said, like lockdowns are ending. I know different parts of Ontario for sure, or wherever you're watching this from, things are changing. And I know in Toronto, it's going to change. Just a short amount of time longer. It's all going to be good. All right, bring your knees into your chest, and I want you to roll yourself up into a little tight ball. Squeeze your abdominals, tuck your chin, and let's hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax back down. Bring your feet flat to the ground. Let's just stretch out our neck a little bit more than maybe what you've done already. Let's turn the head from side to side gently. Just taking enough times here that you feel like you are noticing something kind of stretching and loosening up. Oh, audio's gone? Can anyone else not hear me? I don't know. It seems like my audio is still running from my end. Okay. 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 Awesome. Hopefully that's just a little anomaly on one person. Okay. Okay. All right. Back to the neck. Hopefully get that resolved if whoever wasn't the person who wasn't able to hear me. Okay. All right. Thank you. Back to me babbling. Let's take our hands behind our head. I want you to open up your elbows nice and wide. Keep your core engaged. We are going to lift our head and shoulders up off of the ground. You're pressing your back into the ground, drawing your belly button in towards your spine. Let's hold here. Keep your throat open. Let your head rest in your hands. And we're going to count this down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your choice if you want to bring your head to the ground or if you can keep it lifted. You decide what works for your neck. Pick up your right leg, keep the knee bent. 10, 9, 8. Keep the core strong. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And left leg. 10, 9, 8, 7. Lift up a little higher. 6, 5. Keep everything strong. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Okay. Relax. Give your head some stretches again. You can bring your arms alongside your body. So this time we're not going to lift up the neck. We're going to give it a break. Float both of your legs. Knees are over the hips. Belly muscles are strong. You're going to have a slight curve in your back. That's okay. This is naturally going to happen. Don't worry about this, but just try to keep the core strong. You're trying to keep your back closer to the ground, but it's okay if it's not flush. We're going to take our toes. I want you to point them, and we're going to go tap and up, tap and up. We're just alternating. Tap, 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 tap. So let's keep doing this a little bit longer. I'd like everybody to imagine in your head what wonderful thing you are going to do later today. Now, wonderful is completely subjective. Wonderful might be cleaning your room, grocery shopping, watching TV. I just want you to think it could be eating a delicious sandwich. I love delicious sandwiches. Anything. Could be petting your cat, talking to your sister. Who knows? We are going to keep on doing this a little bit longer. Eating some chocolates, washing your hair. I want you to focus on what that is. Don't think of it so much like a chore. It's something wonderful. We're going to stay doing this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, strong core, 5, keep breathing, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Stretch your legs out, release your ankles, because if you had your toes pointed, they might have felt like they were doing a little bit of work. Bring your arms over your head. Lots of nice big deep breaths, stretching out any of those muscles that felt like they were contracted for a while, and then bring your arms back down. Bring your feet flat to the ground. You're going to have your feet hip distance apart. You should be able to touch the backs of your heels with the tips of your fingers. We're going to lift our hips up. This will be a nice releasing pose. Coming up into a bridge pose, just stretching out, and we'll lower back down. So we're going to do 2 more, and I'll increase some elements to them. Inhale, lifting up. This time, if you want, you can clasp your hands, tuck your shoulders under a little bit more, lifting up a little bit higher. Big breath in, big breath out, and then we'll release back down. So it's optional if you want to take on kind of the next stage of things. And then third time, inhale, lifting up. Once again, maybe clasping your hands, tucking the elbows. Let's lift up on those tiptoes. Lift ourselves up and hold here nice and strong for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release the heels, release the hands, come all the way back down. And let's bring the knees into the chest. Pull your knees wider apart this time. So you're going to get a little more flattening on your back. You might even feel like you're starting to warm up and you want to take a modified happy baby, or you might feel like a full happy baby. So you decide for sure. Let's take another breath. We're almost done here with the stuff on the floor, and then we're going to make our way up. All right, bring your feet down to the ground, soles of the feet together. So we're coming back to this pose. So you know what this feels like. If you like this as a stretch, stay like this. If your neck will tolerate it, feel free to interlace your hands behind your head and lift your head and shoulders up. Open up your elbows nice and wide. So we're going to do 3 different directions. We're going to be lifting up, straight up. We're going to dip to the right. You're going to try to bring elbow towards the knee, come back up, and then dip to the left. Okay, so let's give this a try. Bring your head to the ground as needed. Inhale, lifting straight up. And now we're going to dip to the right. Inhale, straight up, dip to the left. So you're trying to curve the body. Inhale, lift up, and dip over to the right. Inhale, lift up, and over to the left. So you're trying to really keep the elbow, trying to reach over towards the knee. Lift up, and over to the left. Lift up, and over to the right. We're going to do just a couple more times, and up, and over to the left, and up, and over to the right. So it's like you're skimming your shoulder blades along the ground. Over to the left. We're almost done. Over to the right. Last time, and up, over to the left. Come back to center. Let's hold here. Let your head rest in your hands. Open up your elbows. Pull the belly muscles in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your head down. Scoop your knees back up. Hug your knees in. Roll around, massage your low back, massage your tailbone. Gently turn your head from side to side, of course, if you feel like your neck needs that. And we are going to bring ourselves up. Let's grab behind the legs, roll yourself up. You can do this a couple of times if you like how this feels on your spine. Do not do it if it hurts you. Bring yourself around, come around into a tabletop position. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, and we are going to move through a whole bunch of very delicious cat and cows. Nice big deep breaths. Stretch out your spine. Open up the space between your shoulder blades. Release any tension in your low back. Get a nice stretch in the abdominal area. So just a nice complement to the work that we were doing. And then we'll add in a little bit of pushing from side to side. This gets into your outside hips, but it also stretches out your oblique muscles a little bit. And I want you to let your neck hang so your head feels nice and heavy. Your neck is not holding up your head right now, so this can also give you a nice releasing stretch. We want to be careful when we do work on our back for the core that we don't overdo it with the neck. And, lots of times we have neck sensitivities. So we just want to be careful. You can certainly always rest if the neck needs it. So let's come back to center, and we're going to come down on our forearms. So we're in a forearm tabletop, and you can just kind of look underneath your body and look towards your knees. I want you to not drop down in between your shoulders. Push yourself up. You're going to keep your back muscles strong, and you're using your strong shoulders to hold yourself up here. Keep your core engaged. And we're going to take the right leg, and I want you to just bend the knee, and you're going to have your foot facing up towards the ceiling. Try to keep your hips level, and we're just going to pulse, 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 pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend your leg out. I want you to bring your leg over to the right and back to center. Over to the right and back to center. So now try not to swing your leg. Your foot is flexed. You're not using momentum to fling the leg over to the right. It's a nice strong leg. You're working your glute. You're working your leg. You're working your back. So we have 4 more to go. I'm trying to count simultaneously while I'm talking. Sometimes I'm better than that at others. and 2, and 1. Okay, last but not least with this leg, you're going to take it over, touch it to the ground to the left, and then back up, over to the left, and back up, over to the left, and back up. So you kind of get the movement here. You're trying to keep your foot flexed. You're touching your toes to the ground. You're trying not to swing your leg. I know this way I find it a little bit harder to not swing. So we got about 5 more to go. Your abdominal muscles are engaged. And 4, and 3, and 2. Try not to be leaning too much weight on that left side. And 1. All right, bring your knee back down to the ground. Big toes touching, knees are apart. Stretch yourself back. Take a nice releasing child's pose. Now, I know the arms have been forward, like we've been on the forearms. It might feel better in this position, after being on the forearms, in this child's pose position, to bring an arm back, just to give it a little release through the shoulder. You could do one at a time if you're somebody that doesn't really like to have both arms back at the same time. I am one of those people. I do not like how that feels, but I know lots of people find this very, very relaxing to have both arms back. So you decide. No matter what, there's no weight on the forearm, so at the very least we're giving our shoulders a little break. Actually, you know what we can also do? Let's bring the arms forward. We're going to just take the right arm and thread it underneath the left. We'll just do a quick little twisted stretch here, and then we'll do the left arm underneath the right. Just a quick little twist just to give some relief to the upper shoulders. Okay, so we're going to set back up again in our forearm tabletop. And again, remember, don't collapse. Part of the work here is keeping your strong back. Your back is strong, your core is strong. And now we're going to work the legs, which is still a fundamental part of our core, the buttocks. All right, so lift the left leg up, foot is flexed, you're nice and strong. We're going to pulse. So you're just kicking your heel to the ceiling. You're trying to keep your hips level, always engaging your abdominal muscles. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extend the leg out, holding here. And you're going to bring the leg out to the left and draw back in. Out to the left and draw back in. Left and back in. So I find that this really, you can feel the work in the abdominal muscles here. You want to really engage them. It's helping to give you that control of the leg so that you don't fling it back and forth really quickly and just kind of swing it in the air. So 4, 3, 2, and 1, and come back to center. And here's our last set. Tap and back up. So over to the right. Tap and back up. Tap and back up. Tap and back up. Remember, keep the core strong. Keep breathing. We got 5 more to go. 5, 4. I know my counting might be a bit off. We might be doing about 11 sometimes. 3, 2, and 1. And bring your leg back. Knees are apart, big toes touching. Bring yourself back. Again, maybe you want to do the one arm forward, one arm back. Maybe you want to sort of shift your hips a little bit from side to side just to stretch into the legs a little bit more. And then last but not least, let's just do one more little twist. Nice big breath, and we'll twist to the other side. And release, coming all the way back. Okay, let's come up, forward, into downward facing dog. We haven't done this pose yet. Let's start to pedal out the legs. We're going to do a little flowy sequence here. Shake out your neck. Make sure you have all 10 finger pads pressing into the ground. Your hands are shoulder distance apart. This is a nice opportunity to lift up on your tiptoes, push your tailbone up towards the ceiling, and then sink down through your heels any amount. Not only does this release your ankles and, of course, the hamstrings, the backs of the legs, but you can also really feel it in your spine. Nice big stretch in your back, releasing into the back core, the posterior muscles. Let's take one more breath. And then we're going to take our right leg, sweep it up in the air, and step your foot up between your hands. Come down on your left knee. We'll float the arms up in a low lunge. Nice big deep breath, maybe looking up. Bring your hands to your heart, and we're going to twist to the right. I want you to engage the core here. Really feel the muscles working. If you want a little bit more work, you can curl your back toe under and pick up your back leg. It's up to you. We're going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that back knee down, hands down to the ground. Let's give the right leg a little stretch. Point and flex a couple times. And slide your right leg back. You can either stay here in a tabletop position, pushing your hips from side to side, or bring yourself up, downward facing dog. Let's pedal it out again. We'll take about 3 more breaths. Again, maybe you want to lift up nice and high through the sits bones, lifting up your tailbone towards the ceiling and sinking down through your heels any amount. Okay, so from here, left leg reaches up in the air, and step your left foot up between your hands, coming down on your knee, your right knee, and bring the arms up. We'll bring our hands to our heart. We'll twist to the left. So squeezing the abdominal muscles. This is great for the core. If you want a little bit more work, not only strength, but adding in balance, you can pick up your back leg, and we'll hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bringing your knee and your hands back down, stretch out your left leg, and slide your left leg back. You can stay in your tabletop, pushing your hips from side to side, or once again, come up into downward facing dog. Okay, I'm going to add in a little bit more for those that would like. Float forward to a high plank. Bring your knees down or keep them raised. Lower yourself down to the ground. Hands beside the low ribs, tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale into cobra. Curl your toes under from your cobra. Lift up using your core. Pedal it out. Let's practice that again, except we'll go a little bit faster this time. So float forward to a high plank. Lower down. Inhale into cobra. Curl your toes under. Downward facing dog. You know what? Let's do that one more time. Good things come in threes. Inhale into a high plank, lowering down, coming up into cobra, curl the toes under, downward facing dog. All right, so feel free to rest at any time in child's pose or stay on your hands and knees. Let's move around a little bit more. Take your right leg, reach it up in the air. This time, bend the knee open. Step your foot up between your hands. Come down on your left knee. Float the arms up. If you want a little bit more, from here, either using your hands to bring them to the ground or keep them raised, lift up. So now we're in a high lunge. Bring your left arm forward, right arm back. This is great for the core. You can really feel the work that's happening. You can get nice, strong glute muscles in our lunge. Your back is nice and straight and strong. You're drawing your belly muscles in. If you want a little bit more work, maybe look back at your right hand. If you still want a little bit more work, maybe drop your hand, your right hand, flip your left palm, and take a revolved lunge twist. Holding here. Bring everything back, left arm forward, right arm back. Looking forward again, arms up. Bring your hands to the ground. We'll step back into a high plank. Lower yourself down. Inhale into cobra. Curl your toes under, back into downward facing dog. Let's take a couple breaths here, pedal it out. Left leg reaches up in the air, bend the knee open. Step your foot up between your hands, coming down on your right knee. Arms floating up. Staying like this if you'd like, or however you want to do this, bring yourself up. Crescent lunge, nice and strong. Right arm forward, left arm back. Feel all the work that's happening in the core, the twist, the work, the strong glute muscle in your left side. If you want a little bit more, look behind you and look at your left hand. Perhaps drop your left hand. Flip your right palm, sweep back. Maybe you're taking a revolved twisted lunge. Revolved twisted lunge is a repetitive word, I just realized. A revolved lunge. Oh no, it is revolved lunge twist. Okay, come all the way back. Looking forward, arms back up. Bring your hands down, your choice, stepping into a high plank if you'd like, lowering down. Inhale into cobra, curl your toes under, come back up, downward facing dog. Okay. From here, let's come forward to a high plank. I'm going to throw in a little bit of forearm work for those that want. Come onto your forearms. You can always bring your knees down. We'll do a little bit of work here. This is good core work for sure. Super good for our body. If you'd like, dip your hips to the right, come back to center, dip your hips to the left, come back to center. Let's do that a little faster. We'll do it 10 times in total. So 10 and center, 9 and center, 8 and center, 7, center, 6, center, 5, center, 4, center, 3, center, 2, center, 1. And lower yourself down. Come all the way down. Take a nice deep breath, breathing in, breathing out, having an ear to the ground. You can give your hips a little shake. You can turn to the opposite ear. Come back to center. Let's give our arms a little bit of a stretch. So we did a fair amount of, stuff on the forearms today. You can interlace your hands behind your back. You can keep your face, your chin on the ground, and just stretch through the arms. Just stretch them out. Maybe push a little bit over to the right, push a little bit over to the left. Let's also come back to center. We'll do one more thing here. Take your right arm, bring it over to the left corner. Take your left arm and bring that arm on top. So you've made your arms into shoelaces, and I want you to tighten your shoelaces any amount that you need. So you can kind of let your chin rest on your arm, or maybe your chin is into the hollow of the arm. Just a couple big breaths. You're stretching out the upper back. Maybe you even feel it actually in your, a little bit further down into your lat muscles, or maybe it's more focused just in the upper back, but also a little bit of a stretch in the arms. Okay, we're going to release, and we're just going to switch which arm is on top. So take your left arm over to the right corner. Take your right arm on top, and you're just reversing your shoelaces. And again, tightening them up any amount and taking nice big deep breaths. Big deep breaths. Try not to clench your teeth. Okay, and release. Let's take another rest with the ear on the ground, with an ear on the ground. Your arms can be however feels the most comfortable. Alongside the body, up by your face, whatever feels good. Let's go to the opposite ear. So we're going to do just a little bit more work on our back. Our glutes are back, backs of the legs. Still, of course, having some work on the front of the body, but this is all part of good core strengthening. We want to make sure we equally work the front, the back, the sides, everywhere. Okay. So I'd like you to bring your face to the ground and have your arms in cactus arms. and they're going to be on the ground. So palms are flat on the ground. You're in cactus arms. You're kind of smushing your face into the ground. So we're going to give this a try. You can decide and see how this feels. If you don't like it, just bring your arms alongside the body. So try not to actively lift your face off of the ground, but it might hover slightly. I want you to float your hands up maybe 2 inches, your arms. So your cactus arms are now floating above the ground. I hope you can see that. Holding here and then just relax back down. Now, I want you to also remember to pull in your core. You're going to engage your abdominal muscles, and we'll do that again. So inhale, lift the arms up, and lower back down. Okay. The last thing I want you to think about is, imagine that you have a pencil in between your shoulder blades, and then as you lift your arms up, you can feel your shoulder blades coming together a little bit closer, almost like you're squeezing that pencil. Keep your core strong, okay? All right, so we're going to lift the arms up, and we'll pulse them for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then relax them back down. You can give your hips a little bit of a shake. There is some lower spine work happening, so it feels nice to shake that out. I'm going to add to this. So everything will be in layers here. You decide which layer you want to add on. Now, we're going to lift up through the chest, and you still have your cactus arms. They are now floating. So you're hovering with your chest. Your core is still engaged. Your neck is nice and long, and we're going to just move those arms. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax back down. Give your hips a little shake. Okay. This time, let's practice the legs. We're going to lift the legs up. Don't worry about lifting up the arms or the upper body. We're just going to give ourselves a chance to try the legs. Let's actually separate the legs wider apart. They don't have to be right close together. So lift up the legs, trying to keep them nice and straight. I want you to engage your glute muscles as you do this, and keep your core pulled in, your belly muscles pulled in. Okay, so you can see how that feels. So we're going to try and put all 3 together, but you pick and choose which elements that are part of your buffet today. Okay, so floating up through the chest, bring your cactus arms up, float up through the legs. So we're strong. So many things to think about here. And we'll do the arm movement, the pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax back down. Give it a shake. Maybe even bring an opposite ear to the ground. Nice big breath, opposite ear to the ground. Okay, so grand finale. If you would like, we're going to do the whole pulsing with the body. So legs, arms, upper body. We're going to try and do it all in unison. You're going to keep everything strong. Glutes are engaged. Neck is long. Remember to breathe. We're going to do it for 10. So lifting everything up if you want. And we're going to pulse it all. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Okay. Bring an ear to the ground. Shake out your hips. Keep your ear on the ground. Bend your knees. Drop your legs from side to side. We'll pause the legs for a minute. Switch to the opposite ear. Remember, you can always bring your arms into a more comfortable position and drop the legs from side to side. Coming back to center, let your legs come down to the ground. Bring your hands beside your low ribs. Curl your toes under. Bring yourself up into a tabletop position. I want you to do a little baby cat, aka a kitten. Do a little rounding of your back, a little kitten. Nice stretch. Maybe moving into more of a cat because you start to feel like, all right, my back's going to go in this position. Nice big deep breath. Breathe into your muscles. Breathe into your shoulder blades. Let your neck relax. And then we're going to bring ourselves back into a wide knees child's pose. So stretch your hips back or sink your hips back. Release your arms forward. Nice big deep breaths. We'll stay here a little bit longer. We're just letting our spine settle. A little bit of gentle flexion. Let's walk our hands over to the right side. A nice lengthening stretch. You can press back into your left hip. And then we'll do the same thing. Walk your hands over to the left side, and we're going to push into the right hip. Nice big deep breath. And we'll come back to center. Let's lift ourselves up to a seated position. We need to release a little bit here, not on our back and not on our belly. Let's take our right leg and step it over the left. This is really such a good, I think I always, almost always, 95% of the time I do this stretch in a class because it's just so effective. And it's nice because you get to twist, you get to sit up nice and tall, so you get kind of that rinsing, like that wringing out feeling, and then you also get to stretch out your leg. It's like a multi-purpose stretch. And for sure, it feels nice right now because we get to twist our back and we get to stretch out in the glute muscles, which we did a fair amount of work today. In the time that we had, we worked effectively. Let's come back to center. And let's take our right knee and just sit it on the left knee. I'm actually going to face forward for this. If you want, you can take your bottom leg and curve it under as well. Don't worry about doing this if it wrecks your stretch. Do not worry about it. Keep that leg out. But what I would like you to do this time is take your right arm underneath your left. You can also do this. So you're in this position here. We're stretching through the shoulders. There's some release happening on the bottom leg. Maybe you're going to hinge forward. It's going to start to pull more on that bottom leg. If you are in this position, you try to bring the elbows closer to the knees. So whatever works for you. If you don't like the arm twist, just release and bring the hands to the ground. Make sure you're not clenching your teeth. Big breath in, big breath out, and we'll come all the way back up and release the arms and give them a little shake. And then, of course, if your left leg is out, or stretch it out and bring your right leg, give them a little release, and we're going to do the same thing now on the other side. So left leg steps over the right, twist towards the bent knee. Always twisting towards the bent knee. So this is the first part of this stretch. Keep yourself up nice and tall. Nice big breath into your heart. So always, sometimes we'll talk about twisting through the chin a bit more, but for today, you're thinking shoulders down. Don't worry about where you're looking. Use the stabilization against your leg to allow you to twist a little bit more so you can really feel it in your back. And we'll come back to center. Let your left knee rest on the right knee. You can stay like this. If it makes sense, bring the bottom leg in. Don't worry about it if it doesn't. Take your left arm underneath your right, or at least just reverse however you did your arms from before. So nice soft neck. Perhaps you want to lean forward. Who knows? Whatever works for you. Everybody's taking nice big breaths. We're not clenching our teeth. And we'll come all the way back up. Release the arms, release your legs, give them a little shake. Let's take our hands and we'll bring them flat to the ground with our fingers pointing towards the feet. And just a very gentle pry your shoulders back. Maybe turn your head from side to side a couple of times. This is just gentle. You're not flinging your head back. And last but not least, perhaps letting your chin drop towards your chest. You're just stretching out the back of the neck. And then, of course, if you want to do some good toning for the neck and the chin, get rid of any sort of excess, gently bring your chin up to the ceiling as long as it doesn't hurt your neck. But this is just toning for the face, right? Toning for the face and the neck. Okay. Whatever feels good for you here, just listen to your body. All right. We are going to bring ourselves onto our backs. Lying down, bring those beautiful knees into your chest. Bring your feet flat to the ground. Let's take our right ankle and cross it over the left thigh. Bend your legs towards you, if it's available, and grab your left thigh. Keep your right foot flexed. Really let your back press into the ground. Let's take 2 more breaths. And we're going to release, and we'll switch. Opposite leg. Keep the foot flexed. Really be aware of your whole length of your spine right now, stretching out on the ground. We're going to take 2 more breaths. And release. Bring your feet to the outside edges of the mat. Let's just do 4 windshield wiper knees. Just 1 more on either side, and then we're going to come back. Let's stretch our legs up in the air. I have my strap right here. I don't know if you have a strap handy or a towel or a belt. If you don't, do not worry. You can always just elevate the legs, but if you feel like you want to use your prop, go for it. We are going to stay here for about 30 more seconds. This is just part of our cool down, continued postures. We've been doing these last few postures as part of our cool down and stretch. But this is a very important pose, always elevating your legs, doing an inversion, truly relaxing for the body. Also just gets you ready to move on with your day. Let's roll the soles of the feet in if you're using a prop. If not, you can grab whatever you want. You can pull your heels in towards you. This is kind of like sort of a variation of a happy baby. Feel free to take regular happy baby. We'll just take a couple more breaths. Maybe you're somebody who likes to rock from side to side over your spine, giving your back that one final massage. And then release the legs. We are going to do one last movement, a repeat from the beginning. Give your legs a little shake. The repeat is bend your right knee in, bring the leg across the body. One last twist. Right arm away from you. Maybe you feel like you're able to move into this a little more deeply this time. It feels a little more fluid. Your breath is coming in a smoother way. You know that you've done some really good stuff for strengthening your body, for your core. There was some spice. There was some stretch. I hope it all came through as promised. Come all the way back and bring your left knee in, bring your leg across the body and stretch. I'm just going to mention something. I have soon, in another few weeks, I'm going to be offering a 4-week Friday class, Yoga with Weights. It's for all levels because you can choose to use weights, light weights, but you can choose to use 1 pound weights or 5 pound weights. But it's going to be a prepping us for spring and beyond type of class. It's going to start on a Friday. And the good thing about this class is it's going to be available to you. If you can't make the time for it to join it live, you'll be able to have it on a video link to watch at your leisure. Mentioning this to you now. More to come on this. Stretch your left leg out, bring your arms over your head. Big, deep breath. I want you to reach through your fingers, reach down through your toes, take a big, big breath in, exhaling out through your mouth. Let's do that one more time. Big breath in, exhaling out, rolling over to your right side, bring yourself up. I hope you remember the wonderful thing you're going to do today, whatever that is. Come back to it. Bring your hands to your hearts. Whatever that wonderful thing is, make that happen. And thank you so much for joining me. I love being able to share this with everybody, and we get to be our connected community. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Namaste.